What's tonight, for? If this team get beat, we in the final four.
He's a poor man LeBron, bro, when it comes to trades. It's like, you guys look at, KD went to go
down 3 games, it's a quick sweep.
Not cap if you want to. Cap if you want to.
You know what's in me.
When I said that they let James Harden do the same thing and let Kevin Durant do the same thing, and they're essentially letting James Harden do the same thing again.
I said Kevin Durant should have took a 50-50 blame, and Westbrook should have took a 50-50 blame too.
That boy over there eating. I'm just over here watching Boo Wop in the back, just munching.
Facts, smash.
Nigga, let me guess, you eating some chicken?
I'm finna show that shit. Titan beef.
This nigga said I want
to talk about it, dog.
This nigga said I done stopped by and got me a whole meal. I remember when somebody ate a meal on the podcast. I remember what it sounded like too.
Oh, Troy.
You know, reminiscing.
Hey, Troy, I just watched that episode a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you heard the
yeah, just nostalgic feelings. You feel me? I went to go back and watch that episode, bro. Just cause.
Motherfucker Troy.
My boy Wacko, man. You feel me?
Man, I'm back in the building, man. Hey, let me apologize to our guests, man. Listen, WAP is narcoleptic. Hey, look, man. What had happened, I ain't gonna tell you. I told Troy about what really happened, but you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, you dropped out and got your GED.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. What he said.
Education is important.
Yeah, man.
You have to go learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, welcome back to the motherfucking podcast on this beautiful ass Monday. I got the boys back in the building. What's up, fellas?
What I mean?
What's popping?
Marquise back in the building. Thank you for coming by. We got some unfinished business over here. But
yes,
first, we got to attack these playoffs. 4 teams left. I know Boston ain't one of them. We're about to get to that. Yeah, I know Boo I want to get to it. So it's first on the agenda. We're gonna get right to it. You know, no shy away from what Boo I want, you know. Boo I want the sauce, we're gonna get the sauce. You feel me? It's one of those motherfucking days. You feel me?
Yeah.
Whiskey Troy.
Let's go ahead and get into it.
But well, here we are, Eastern Conference Finals. There could be a team that's never won a championship to win their first, or it could be a team that only has 2 championships in their whole franchise history. Last one dating back 52 years. To win another one. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What was it? Game 4, Knicks floor. Tatum about to drop a 50 bomb. Brunson going crazy. They're just swinging. The Knicks take control. Tatum pop his leg. I would think the series is over, right? I think the next game, and I told my coworker this, no, that's it. Wrap us up, put us in the box, and ship us off. You feel me? Because I'm a real fan. I can accept it, you know? I'm not mad. You know, I'm not hating. I'm not none of that. It happens. What did Giannis say 2 years ago in that press conference? What did Giannis say in that press conference 2 years ago? That's all I'm saying. You feel me? And I know you guys gonna want to shed some light on Jason Tatum. You know, like I heard somebody before the show said they need to trade him, but I'm not looking at JT. I'm not looking at JT at all after this series. You know, I'm kind of looking at the guy that we call his equal. That's who I'm looking at. I don't think, in my opinion, Blue Up, you might disagree here. I don't think, Jaylen Brown, did what he needed to do in this series. I feel like he came up a lot short, especially in the time when Boston needed him. You could say he played well in Game 5. That I'll take that, so that White. But I don't think in that Game 4, Brown was doing what Brown needed to do. Knee injury and everything, or whatever you want to call it, bruise, whatever it is, aside, I think in that moment, if we call Brown Tatum's equal, then where was he standing beside Batman? I don't think he was there. I think Robin stayed home and was like, you got this one, Batman, and let Batman get his ass kicked by himself. You feel me? So I'm not happy with Brown. I know moves are coming, and I'm going to say it right here. Brown's probably going to be one of them, and Buop will finally get his wish of breaking up Brown and Tatum that he's been shouting for, 2 years now, maybe longer. I would hate to see Brown go, but hey, money moves got to be made. You know, we Stevens did come out and say that we still want to stay in contender, in the contender spot, which I agree with. Don't do what Boo Up said and blow him up. But I'm not disappointed. I don't really want to hear nothing about Jason Tatum today. I really don't. You know, if it ain't for Brown and those others, you know, I don't. Troy probably just gonna take his headphones off and let y'all have it, because I don't think it's fair anymore for us to be questioning Tatum when he tried his, like, what he did in that game is, I think, what everybody was saying that he doesn't do. He stepped up in a way and showed that he was the best player on the court until he got injured. I'm gonna kick it over to Boo Out because I know you got something to say.
Well, for me, I think a lot of times when we with people in general, like, I think they get so caught up in what the noise is surrounding certain players that they don't even believe their own analysis no more. Right? Like, me personally, I think I do a very good job of separating the noise from my analysis, right? Like, I see the game for what I see it for, but I also hear what people are saying. When people say Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are equals, I think they don't know basketball. I think Jason Tatum is clearly better than Jaylen Brown. So I don't have that thought process in my analysis where when you lose a guy like Jason Tatum, where I automatically assume, well, Jaylen Brown is just as good as Jason Tatum, so he's just going to pick up the slack. I don't believe that shit. I think if Jaylen Brown is your number one option, your ass is in trouble. That's what I believe. You're in trouble. Shout out to Jaylen Brown them for getting that game 5, though. I think the home crowd, Peyton Pritchard, what's the guy named Luke Cornett, had a hell of a game.
7 blocks. Great defense.
I think that's just the heart of a champion type team, right? They still got that personnel there. So, like, I'm not shocked they won a game 5. But again, you would be a damn fool if you thought they was going to win the series without Jason Tatum. Your ass is tripping. What's going on? Like, so I don't think right now, like Troy said, I've been saying they should break the team up, but that's before they won the championship, though. Now, I don't think you can break this team up. Now, you have to keep Jaylen Brown. You just have to now at this point, because who are you finna bring in, like, as a quality number 2 to Jason Tatum? You have to think about that.
They're saying Giannis. I don't like that, though.
But Giannis wouldn't be the number 2.
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
I could see it happening.
I could see it happening too, but I don't think Giannis would be the number 2. So to get Giannis over Jaylen Brown, that's clearly an upgrade. You won. If that's the trade scenario, you won. Go ahead and push the trigger immediately. You won. So again, for me, I don't think you blow this team up. I do think I'm not gonna say Jason Tatum didn't let me down some. I would say the Celtics team in the whole kind of let me down, because I don't think
I can agree with that.
Where they should have been down 2-0. I don't see why that happened, especially them having home court advantage. I don't see that. And then them ultimately just going down 3-1 in general, like, just being in that situation, to me, that was more of a testament to the team. That shot selection was not great down the stretch of games. They choked a bunch of leads, and you hate to see a team that talented do something like that. Like, it's just a bad look. So again, for me, it's more so it was a total team failure, more so than Jason Tatum let the team down. It was, and he didn't play particularly well those 2 games either. So that's people will harp on him in particular, because it is a group of people that believe Jason Tatum is a top 5 player. I'm one of them. I believe he's a top 5 player when healthy. But then there's a bunch of people, fair enough, that believes in moments like this, he don't deliver. So, again, like I said, bro, like, I'm on the end of Boston needs to kind of keep this group together. They probably gonna lose Porzingis and maybe even Peyton Pritchard.
No, I don't think we let Peyton Pritchard go. I think they're talking about moving Holiday.
Yep, I think they're gonna move.
And letting Peyton Pritchard taking Drew's spot. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that could be possible, but he gonna, the thing about it, once he start hitting that money, is it's gonna depend on what he want to do, because he's gonna get some money thrown at him.
6 man of the year, yeah, should.
Yeah, he definitely could get some money thrown at him, but I don't know, Peyton. You got to. Some guys don't look at the money. Some guys look at what they could do and what the relationship that they build with those guys. So I don't know. I can't say for sure. I don't know Peyton Pritchard, but I don't see him leaving.
All I'm saying is it's kind of in the air, is what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna have to. I don't think Brown is the piece you lose this year. I think it's the others. You know what I'm saying? You're probably gonna lose Horford. He might retire. It's possible. So we'll just see how this play out. But I just think you can't afford to lose Brown right now. You're gonna have to keep Brown. You're gonna have to stay packed with Brown and see what next
Unless
year.
You can get Giannis.
Yeah, type shit.
Don't trade him for KD. If you can get Giannis, I will accept. Marquise?
I got a few things I got to say, man. And Troy, I hope you don't get too upset. I'm just gonna kick it off. This Celtics team is the most winning, but the least like aura I've ever seen from a team that is so great. So great. And when I think about the history of Celtics teams, I think about players that just made their mark. And it was just something about like never losing in that fashion, maybe because of that ego. I just couldn't see the 2008 Celtics going out like that, even if they was in the same predicament, you know. And looking at Jaylen Brown, I don't know if we can really blame him for not stepping up in that last game that they had. It's not really in their play style to really be one man dominant for the most part. But I personally believe that the Celtics have a couple of ways they can handle this. If they keep Jaylen Brown, you'll know if you should trade him after this year, because you're not going to have Jason Tatum, and you can finally see if this can be a one-man show with him. Can you really build around Jaylen Brown? Secondly, don't take the risk. Get rid of him and grab 2 more pieces and do what you can, because there's a reason why you need Jason Tatum, no matter what, when he comes back. But that Celtics team, I feel like they need a player that, if they're going to come there, needs to have some type of dominant ego, just something that make people just say, like, you know, make people fear at least one guy. I don't think nobody's scared of one guy on that team.
You can't argue with that. Not the last point. But I wasn't to rebuttal real quick. I wasn't saying that one man show Brown, and I wasn't saying one game. Brown did have a good game. 5 to push it to game 6, but I think in key moments throughout there, like we say, Jason Tatum had 2 bad games. Where was Jaylen Brown's the Finals MVP to the championship at? That's what I'm talking about.
One more thing to
where
that?
was that guy at?
I want to also mention this. This is also why players shouldn't get paid so much. I know that Jaylen Brown's got $300 million, but when we look at Jaylen Brown Finals MVP, that was right before the bag, if I'm not correct.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't have that contract and he was in the same position, I think you might have had a game 7. I think you would have had a game 7 if he knew he was playing for something more. I think Jaylen Brown is more as an entrepreneur. I don't really think he's that hungry for it now since he got it. I just don't think he has it in him.
No, he got the bread. He got the bread before the ring.
Man,
Tatum got the bread after the ring. Brown got the bread before the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I just don't see why would you change the level of play when you need it the most. And I think sometimes guys can get in the mindset of preserving their body and not giving it all. I think you might have seen that from Jimmy as well on his way out with the Golden State Warriors. People expected a little bit more from him when Corey wasn't out.
I think that was unrealistic though, because you gotta expect a player for the most part, to when they come to a team, you got to expect them to play that role that the team initially signed them for. You can't expect Jimmy, because Stephen Curry, one of the greatest players in NBA history, goes down. You can't expect Jimmy to all of a sudden turn into Steph or give you that impact of a Steph Curry, because he's never done that in his career. Like, he's had big moments, of course, but a lot of times that playoff Jimmy shit, to me, gets overblown. Like, I'm not to say that he hasn't had good runs or good series throughout his playoff Jimmy runs, but again, it gets magnified because obviously he's winning these series, but at the same time, I still think that's unrealistic expectations of a player, because Jimmy still at his core, like he said before, I think he said it right after that game 2 loss or game 3 loss. They was like, man, Jimmy, you need to be more aggressive. He told him, like, I've never been an aggressive player in my life, and he hasn't. He's a guy that typically makes the right plays, makes the right reads. He's not a ball hog. He plays tough. At times, when he sees his team needs him more, he can give you a little bit more, but he's just never been like, I'm gonna go out here and get 30 a night. That's never been Jimmy Butler.
You know what? Maybe it's just the fan of us as sport fans. You know, you think about some of the greatest players that we grew up watching. It was just that one guy that you knew can just take over the game. It was just something about having that guy on TV and just seeing him play. Even if he never won a ring like Tracy McGrady, you just knew that's the type of guy that could take over a game. So I got a quick question for everybody. Who do y'all think is the most feared player remaining left in the playoffs?
Anthony Edwards.
I
would say between Brunson and Edwards, but I don't think none of these players have truly.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
the beauty of it right now. Like, this is the beauty of the NBA. This is all about bragging rights and earning something. You know what I'm saying? We finna see somebody earn something.
Can the Pacers beat the Knicks healthy?
Exactly.
That's what Knicks fans are saying right now. They didn't beat us. They beat us last year. We took them game 7. We wasn't healthy. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you got a guy like Tyrese Halliburton. People were saying he was overrated, you know what I'm saying, until the playoffs started. Now last year was a fluke. Indiana only beat hurt teams, blah, blah, blah. They smoked Giannis and them again. They smoked the 68-win Cleveland Cavaliers, smoked them boys. And now we finna see what they're going to do with the Knicks, another team that's, you know what I'm saying, quote unquote, better than them. So we're going to see what they're made of, and I think that's something we haven't really seen in the last couple of years in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a lot of, what is Steph gonna do, or what is LeBron and them gonna do? Like, we got a bunch of young guys. Nobody's have ever won a ring. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody on none of these cores have a ring. Nope, nobody.
I actually love the situation that we're looking at, though.
Alex Caruso, good answer. My fault.
That is my Giants hat. It's the wrong hat, but whatever. We started already. Shut up, DJ. But yeah, I'm feared. I don't know if Anthony Edwards is feared though, Moon. I don't know if anybody fears him yet.
I think they fear him, but it's just not like earned fear, like where it's like, you know what I'm saying? I think he's. I don't think
SGA fears him. I think SGA going in this like, I'm feared.
But see,
I don't think anybody technically is feared throughout the series. I just think that there's a certain level of respect when it comes to those type of players, right? Like when Martise asked the question, who's the most feared? I think it's going to come down to probably Jalen Brunson and Edwards. Not dismissing what Shea has been doing in the playoffs, but I don't see any of those guys like quaking in their boots or shaking and stuff like that on the court. I think when it comes to like that name or that, that word fear, I think it comes to a different type of respect. Like, well, they may not be necessarily scared, but when you look at Ant-Man, that's a different level of respect. You better respect that boy because he coming through your city, man. You know what I mean? He gonna come through your city and he gonna take a seat. And he gonna ask you gonna have to get him up out of there.
We can all say this: Anthony Edwards has the potential to be the most feared as of what's there, only because what we've seen from him. When he finds a way to score on double teams and penetration, and this is the part where I kind of get upset when we lose certain people in this world, such as, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. This guy was a mentor for the game for so many people. And when you see a guy that's like Anthony Edwards, you wish he had that mentor that can take the time to have him tweak it, because we could be looking at the next Michael Jordan if he plays well in the Western Conference Finals and do well in the finals and win it. He can be in that still hype that he's living up to right now. It's possible.
I mean, that's true though, because just listening to what the interviews during the series of the Warriors T-Wolves, right? And Edwards, he's accrediting Steph Curry, he's accrediting Steve Kerr, like working out with those guys during the summer, right? Shooting with Steph, dribbling with Steph, right? Playing defense, going back and forth, one-on-ones type shit, right? So like just attributing to that, training with the great like Steph, right? And we got other guys who train with LeBron, and other guys who train and so on and so forth. Like me and Troy religiously talk about Peyton Pritchard, who brings over guys from European leagues and like pays them to guard him full speed. Like, don't slouch off, don't do none of that shit, guard me full speed, because that's what he's going to get in the game, right? So like that's a big ass point, because with Kobe, not only was he trying to mentor the young generation of the NBA, but he also took the time to venture into the WNBA as well, right? He's a girl dad, he likes girls and stuff like that. But like a lot of the guys who will look at Kobe, they try to model their game after him, right? Like I've seen a lot of people try to put the Rockets, Jalen Green, right? Like they say, oh, we see similarities of Kobe and him, right? Same with Edwards, right? He has the potential, the flashes, right? These are just the narratives that I'm hearing. So I think it's just like guys like that are important, right? Like when Hakeem is going to colleges, when he's going to the N1 pick or to the overtime pickup games, house of highlight pickup games, basketball games, and he's stopping the game and he's telling everybody, yo, look, this is how you play defense, bro. Like I get it, y'all got y'all ways to play defense, you know what I'm saying, in today's game, but I'm gonna show you how to really lock down a nigga back in my day and in today's game, because the footwork is endless. The footwork is ageless. The footwork don't age. You know what I mean? So like the stuff that he's teaching these guys, you can't get it from everywhere else. You know what I mean? So I think that's an important aspect of the game, bro. Like when you listen to Ant Edwards talk about how he trains with other guys, right? And when you have a guy like Kobe who was gone too soon, and a lot of people just miss that type of mentality. I know a lot of people like to bring it up, but that's an aspect of the game, right? That killer mentality, that I'm not going to quit until, you know what I'm saying, I'm on top mentality, right? Like that never quit, I'm always going to outwork your mentality. Like I think that a lot of the times that is what's missing from, today's game. And we see it with a lot of the guys trying to be buddy and, oh, well, jersey swap here, and, oh, well, I'm going for 30, so you can go for 35. And nah, bro, like, nigga, fuck that. I need a killer mentality. I want to see homies go at each other to the point where it's like they look like they not homies, right? Yeah. But we know they're dapping it up in you feel me, in the locker room or in the parking lot or whatever the case may be.
I mean, that's what we did to our homies.
It's true.
Yeah, but a lot of us, for the most part, still grew up in that, that era where social media wasn't so prevalent, you know what I'm saying, where everything you did wrong could potentially be a highlight reel or a low light reel, rather, you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't grow up in that era. These players grow up in this era where, like, everything they're doing is spotlighted. You know what I'm saying? But it's like a double-edged sword. It's like the players before you laid the groundwork, right? Them players before you didn't get nearly the same exposure, money, none of these things. Like equipment's better, training's better, everything is better for these players today.
Yeah.
So the excuses that they have don't really like sit well with me personally, because it's just like, bro, y'all got it all.
And I will say it's because we don't have that concrete roles, and a lot of the young players or even being peers with people who in that concrete rose mindset. When you got somebody who came from a hard place and made it somewhere point in life, that flourished really good personality traits. That flourished good behaviors. And when you have people who are around silver spoon fed individuals, this is what you're getting. You're going to get silver spoon individual results, and you're not going to get that next level that comes with understanding hardship and what grit and discipline comes through. And honestly, a lot of these veterans I'm seeing, they still have this YM mentality that's holding us back. They really need to start letting that go and actually try to adapt and build a better relationship with some of the youth, because there's so much potential for what we see on this floor for young kids too, for sure.
But I think as a vet though in this league right now, it's kind of hard to tell these young players anything. Though.
I was just about to say that.
Like they're making so much more money than you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like to the point where it's like, I think a lot of these, I would go and say like the last 10 years, right? I think a lot of these players that came from high school, I'm not going to say all of them, but a vast majority of them, once they got out of high school, because they were social media famous, a lot of these top recruits, their work ethic kind of got, you know what I mean? I don't want to say it got hindered, right? Because you think you made it. If you a guy like Zion, and most of us knew Zion since he was like a fucking junior or some shit in high school. Like, so a guy like that, and then the best example of it would be Ben Simmons. Because now all the reports, not now, but like when everything started happening with Ben Simmons with the Philly stuff, the reports started coming out. High school coaches. Oh, he been this way. Man, been all talent. Been feeling like a rock star since he got here. There's no way the number one draft pick, like I need to do a research on it, but I'm pretty sure like the number one draft pick in the NBA did not make the tournament. That's what you're telling me? Like his team didn't go to the tournament. So for a guy like Ben Simmons, he's been famous. He's getting this money. Like you really, what can you tell a guy like that? Because look at him now. He's bounced around the league. I didn't even know he was on the fucking Clippers. The man got braids and shit now.
Yeah, side note, that's like me when I found out I didn't even know Daniel Jones got released by the Giants.
That nigga said the man got braids and shit.
Somebody told me he was on the Vikings. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? What you mean he on the Vikings? That nigga's a Giant. Nah, that nigga's a Viking. I was like, nah, bro, look that shit up.
Yeah. It's like you could have never told me Ben Simmons would be a fucking backup player, like a player that's not even really playing, right? And what this will be what, year 8 for Ben? Like I would never guess it for him. Never. The talent that he has, never.
That's a good point.
That's a great point.
All right. Knicks Pacers. Who we got?
Pacers.
Flat out.
I got the Pacers too. No hesitation.
This is why I'm saying Pacers. 2 reasons. One, the Knicks just fought for their lives against an injured Celtics team. Even though it didn't get to a so-called Game 7, that 5 they like to run is going against a full team that's had more time to rest. And that plays to the opposite of how they may want to play. We're talking the Pacers defenses, to me, right now they're number 1 for defense out of the 4 teams for defense, like across the board, outside perimeter, inside, just balance. Just saying balance, because you can sub some guys out and get some good defense from them. That's just my opinion. But lastly, I feel like just ball movement. You got a lot of like the way the Pacers move the ball, bro. It makes you want to hoop.
Almost 10 more assists than the Knicks.
I understand that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It makes you want to hoop, and I feel like I don't know if the Pacers like really get enough respect for how they just handled that last series that he just did. They really changed the way Cleveland played basketball. We're talking about a team that won 60 plus games. Like I can, if they can run Cleveland out of their shoes, I really don't think the Knicks are going to be that much more of a challenge. If they can contain Jalen Brunson, I can see that being a Sixers and Pacers at the most. I don't really see the Knicks taking that over.
Damn, that's a really good ass. That's valid. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even think about that because that's true. They really did sit up there and fight for their life against, essentially a hobbled Celtics, man. Like,
but that's not. They go a little bit further, didn't they? Go to 6 with the Pistons.
Yeah.
So not only were they fighting against their life, fuck Boston. They kind of had a little scare in the first round where Pacers kind of was like, all right, we're not going away too fucking easy. Like, we got some dogs over here. You're gonna have to beat us. And they eventually did in 6.
To add the context though, the Pacers, no matter how you chop it, even though I picked them to beat the Bucks was injured. They missed 2 games, 3 games.
Everybody's injured though.
No, but it's a difference being completely
100%. I agree with you, but everybody's injured.
Sure.
Yeah, but
almost every team
that's
not in the playoffs right now has lost a player.
One thing to be missing like a key role player, that's fine, but to be missing your number 2 option,
but what I'm saying is Dame, Steph, Tatum, like everybody. You get, and this is what I said. The last 5 years, if we go back and look, every team that has won a championship or every team that has made the finals had played the team that was in it.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm simply pointing out the differences between the Knicks path and the Pacers path. The Knicks played a fully healthy Detroit team, and Detroit is a very good team.
True.
It's not a bad team. That's a very good team. That team is going to be scary next year. Trust me.
The banged up Boston team. And
who?
What are you gonna say? The Knicks. They played the banged up Boston team. The Knicks.
Yeah, but they played a banged up Boston team after game.
Porzingis. No, that's not true.
Okay,
it's not true. Porzingis, Brown's knee, Tatum's wrist. We was banged up. Drew Holiday, we was banged up.
Okay,
the same energy all years around.
Again, it's still not the same as losing your number 2 option. It's just not.
He just came back, didn't he? He didn't. He came back and then got injured.
He came back game 3. He came back game 3, but he missed game 5. If I'm not mistaken, got back hurt or some shit.
I just want to throw this out here. 2 things. The Knicks were like 3 basketball shots away from not being in this series. Just 3 basketball shots. Like, we're talking historically, they only had the lead, I think, out of the first 5 games for 24 minutes of basketball. 24 minutes. And the Celtics were just missing open shots. The Knicks wasn't guarding them 6 feet so up front that really made them play the way they did. I'm not taking away from the Knicks' success.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm trying to say is when you look at the competitiveness that comes with the Pacers, regardless of how people feel about Milwaukee, Cleveland is a great team, and I don't see 2 things. Just flipping it. I don't see the Knicks beating the Cleveland Cavaliers the way that the Pacers handled them. I just don't see that. And I also don't see in the Pacers needing 6 games to beat the Celtics after winning so closely. I just don't see that happening. Last thing I'm gonna say is one injury from the Knicks, and that glass chair is broken. One injury. We're talking the Pacers got a full squad. If Halliburton don't get hurt, they're still good. You lose one of them star players from the Knicks, Pacers in the championship. It's just that simple.
If the Pacers lose Halliburton, they're gonna lose.
That's all but that's one piece.
Yeah, but if
the Knicks lose any of their starters, Cat, they're done. They're cooked.
Yeah, but they're starting.
The Pacers can lose the injured starter as long as it's not Halliburton, and they got enough bench depth to still compete. The Knicks cannot lose one of those 5 guys, bro.
I agree with that. I agree with that because the Knicks 5 starters, the Knicks 5 starters are these are basically outside of Josh Hart, all max players.
I hear you, but realistically, I see one of them guys getting hurt after what they've been going through. They went through a mountain from Detroit. They went through a mountain from the Celtics and barely got over that hump, bro. The Celtics fans was not that confident against the Celtics, regardless if Jason was there or not. They were not talking about this was an easy ride. Now they're there. You really think that though?
But it shouldn't have been an easy ride. Boston Celtics is like, when healthy, that's the best team in the NBA.
Of course.
Like
nobody's arguing that.
Nobody should have thought this was going to be an easy walk.
All I'm saying is, just in general, they're going to be too fatigued to keep up with the Pacers. I don't see that. It's too fatigued and possibly being injured. There's just too many variables for the Knicks to overcome it. If the Knicks beat the Pacers, bro, the Pacers played bad.
The Knicks did fall apart last year.
Time out. So, but the variables that you gave, right,
around the same time,
that's understandable. If you tell me that somebody's getting hurt at the starting 5 and that the Knicks just overall has too fatigued, I can see that.
Straight up pieces.
But what I'm still saying is this: if none of those variables, because like I'm not giving no team that excuse, like I was too tired, like I'm not doing that. You're a professional basketball player, so I'm not going to give you that. You lost. But how I'm looking at it is, if the Knicks play their brand of basketball and the Pacers play their brand of basketball, I think this is going to be a 6 or 7 game series. I don't know personally who can win, because I think the Knicks, they have the best player on the court, which is Jalen Brunson to me. But I also think the Pacers have more depth. They can run a 8 to 10 man lineup on you.
How much better is Jalen Brunson than Tyler Hasburn, though?
Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, I would say his name wrong, boy.
I would say he's a tier above, at least a tier, for sure, a tier above.
I don't know.
I think
they're closer. I think
Jalen Brunson is definitively a top 10 player. I think Tyrese Halliburton is debatably a top 15. Might be more so top 20.
I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know if I put Brunson.
Tell me what Tyrese Halliburton.
I'm just gonna throw this out here. We're talking. This is a perfect game for basketball for the old heads and the new heads, because Tyler Halliburton isn't your typical offensive go-to guy, right? But he also plays really good defense. Halliburton can move that ball, bro. He got that old school PG in him a little bit, and I think his versatility on the floor just makes him a little bit more dominant than Brunson. I hate to say it. Brunson is a clutch shooter. Brunson, fourth quarter, I won't argue with him. But all throughout the game, not that much better than Halliburton. Sorry.
Tell me the old school point guard that won the title was the best player. Tell me one.
Rondo.
Tell me one. Right now.
Rondo.
Rondo has never been the best player on the championship. Rondo has never been the best player on the championship team.
I mean, in my opinion, I thought he was the best player on the Celtics. That was just me. That was just my mindset. The way he played the game, just in general. I think he made that. Don't get me wrong. I love KG, but KG with the Minnesota was different when we got to the Celtics. I think Rondo was in his prime with the Celtics, bro. That's just my opinion.
Rondo was different when he was in Boston. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
He was with them fucking little slick ass passes and the shit.
Brother.
Bro, that made everybody great. If you didn't have Rondo, Ray Allen probably would have had to play ISO ball late in his career. I'm just saying.
We didn't have a PP on the bench. We had Eddie House.
You know what I'm saying? If you can just dish out a guy who can just dish, makes the game so easy, bro.
Yeah, but I'm with you, Mar. I do think Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton is not too far off from each other. I don't think it's that big of a gap between the two.
That's not crazy to say.
No. People sleeping on Halliburton, bro. Halliburton made it to the Eastern Conference Finals twice too. Like, what are y'all tripping about? Y'all tripping to think that Halliburton doesn't get his roses because he's inconsistent and he doesn't have a cool style to play the ball. But bro, he looked like somebody would have fit perfectly with them old school San Antonio Spurs, boy. He plays the game the right way.
Hey, he's balling right now.
He's a tall Tony Parker, bro.
That's actually not a bad comparison. Actually, really accurate, honestly.
He's a tall Tony Parker.
I'm leaning towards the Knicks, but I wouldn't. This Patriot team scares the shit out of me, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, and not for the reasons that y'all may think. Like, they're fast, they're fiery. Like I said, they communicate, bro. That's the thing about this Patriots team that a lot of people don't kind of really see is the way they talk, not just on offense, but on defense, bro. Like calling out the switches, passing lanes, rotations. Like, bro, like it's the communication amongst young guys, though, right? Like that's the thing, because a lot of guys you gotta get certain vets into the locker room and implement some type of culture. Like these guys have their culture. They got their connection, right? You can see that these guys chill. They kick it on the off days. They kick it with each other when they're not at practice. Like they have a different kind of connection, a different kind of chemistry that is taking them further than most people is going to expect. You pair that with the ballers that they got, like Hallie balling right now, Obi balling right now, Turner balling right now.
You can't tell me that you could have seen the Knicks putting up 80 against the Cavaliers in any playoff game within the half, bro. You cannot tell me at any point in time. I'm asking you to stop. You can't see them putting up 80, bro.
I did because I know the type of team that the Pacers are. They play the game fast.
That's not my question. That's not my question. What I'm asking you to see the Knicks putting 80 against the Cavaliers. Could you see that?
Oh no,
that's my question. You can't.
But they don't need to. See, the thing about it is that they don't need to do that. That's not their brand of basketball. What the Knicks need to do is try to put up 60 on the Pacers. That's realistic because the Pacers don't play great defense. Like, even though what you're saying right now is somewhat true in the playoffs, they have been on the string more so. Me personally, I don't think they've been on a better string than the Timberwolves, but they've been on a good string still. They talk to each other. They communicate on defense. But if you're the Knicks, you put this team together. You gotta be able to look at guys like OG. You gotta be able to look at guys like Cat and be like, man, listen, we need your best shit today. Like, we paying you this type of bread. We got to get your best performances. This is just the reality because OG is still going to be better. Like, to me, the Knicks, once you get past Brunson, you're going to go to Halliburton. And then I'm going to say Cat. Some people might say Pascal. I'm going to say Cat. Cat's better than Pascal right now. Then after that, I think everything else like Knicks, OG, Mikal, Josh Hart. I think those three guys is better than Nembhard and Mathurin and Miles Turner. I think those guys are better. So to me, it's all about the Knicks max players playing up to their contracts. Not necessarily saying they numbers need to reflect like they're averaging 25 and no, like Jalen Brunson needs to be your guy. Cat needs to be 20 and 10. And Mikal and OG need to be playing like lockdown type of defense. Now, the thing about the Pacers for me is that you can't single out one guy on that team and be like, that's the guy that's going to beat us. That's what makes the Pacers scary. Because it could be Tyrese. It could be Pascal. It could be Nembhard. Like, these guys get it done from a collective standpoint where you can't just key in on one guy. And that's what makes the Pacers special.
I'm taking the Pacers all the way, man. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I just kind of, and I know stats not everything. I just kind of looking at, stats compared over their careers. And yeah, I'm going to stick to my analogy. I don't think they're too far apart. Not even like skill set wise.
Woo!
Tyler and Jalen.
Man, they definitely far apart right
No,
now.
I don't think they're too far apart at all.
They are.
One
One is clearly
Bro, Halliburton is
one is
bro,
clearly
like-
one is clearly a better scorer.
one is just
One
a
is
better
clearly
player.
a better scorer.
Just a
The
better
other one
player.
is clearly better at everything else on the floor. The other one is clearly better than everything else on the floor.
Facts.
What does
So
the
I don't know
mean?
how we can say. I
What
don't know
does
how
that
we can say
mean?
it's a
What does
straight
that
level
mean?
above them. I'm sorry.
I just said what I just said, bro. Like you not telling me nothing. You just point out that I know you don't really fuck with the Knicks. So a lot of this is still
No, I don't know why people. I don't have nothing against the Knicks. I don't like that shit. Like y'all gotta
Keep your
throw something
team.
in there. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I like my boy at work said so. He texted me. I don't give a fuck. It's
Sure you don't.
basketball. People lose. I'm a
Mhm.
champion. I don't give a shit. The Knicks are a losing franchise. Why I'm gonna hate on a losing franchise? Tell them get their weight up, nigga, before I start hating on them. The
How
fuck
they
are we
a-
talking about?
How they a
When
losing
the
franchise?
when the last time they won a championship? When the last time they made it to the Eastern Conference Final?
So every
Come on,
so
they're a
every-
losing championship. They're a
from your
losing
stand-
team, bro.
from your
All they
standpoint,
do is lose. They can't even sing the Little Wayne song. They can't even sing it. But why I'm
from
hating
your
on them for?
standpoint, so from your
What I'm hating on them
standpoint,
for?
so from your standpoint, every team is a losing
I
team.
can't say shit
So
about a
every
guy
team
having
is
an
a
analogy
losing
about
team.
something without Troy Field.
Every
I don't
team
give a
is a
shit about the
losing
Knicks. I don't
team.
give a
Got
shit about
it,
the
Troy.
Knicks. I don't
Got
give a
it.
shit about the Knicks.
Got
We're
it.
talking about the
Got
Knicks
it.
right now. You want to
We got
generalize
it.
and do it all you want. It
We
ain't working,
got
bro.
it.
We're
We
talking
got
about
it,
the
brother.
Knicks, and you
We
want to
got
say
it,
people. I'm not
brother.
hating on
We
them, bro.
got
They're a
it.
losing franchise. I ain't got
We
shit to
got
hate on.
it. We
God
got
damn, bro.
it.
Couldn't even get to a
Got
fucking
it.
finals with Carmelo Anthony, the
got
best
it.
triple threat guy in the league.
Every
Bro. Get the
team
fuck
is
out
a
of here.
losing
They had
franchise.
Jeremy Lin and couldn't do nothing with
Every
it. Come on,
team
bro.
is a
I'm
losing
hating on them.
franchise.
These
Every
niggas
team
made
is
a big deal out of 15 days, and I'm gonna hate on that franchise. They hate on them damn stuff. They beat a Pacers fan with garbage bags. What are we talking about? Why I'm hating on them? They hate themselves.
You're
Because
disgusting.
as soon as they lose, they're gonna be crying. All of them are gonna have the Tyrese face crying. Just
You're
Tyrese's
disgusting.
everywhere in New York, just crying. Why I'm hating on
Bring
them?
that
They're a losing
biasness out. Bring
franchise.
that fandom out.
They're a fucking losing
Bring that fandom on
franchise.
out, buddy.
You can say what you want. You
Bring that
did
fandom
this.
on out.
You did this. This is on you.
I don't
This
give
is
a
on
fuck.
you.
No, Tatum did this.
Give a fuck about
Tatum did this.
fuck about the Knicks.
Brown did this.
Good luck, Knicks.
Porzingis did this.
I got the Pacers,
Porzingis
and I'm
did this.
taking Tyler over Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip it to the other side, man. Let's talk about the Western Conference Finals a little bit.
All right, Marquise,
Hater.
Anthony Edwards versus Shea. Oh my
I'm
God,
a
what a matchup! You see, I'm unfazed, nigga. He can't phase me. We got a
I'm
great
a
matchup over here. In the West. It's gonna be exciting. Young man versus young man. Two guys that want to determine their fates in the NBA, and Boo-Wah can't touch a nigga. You feel
My
me?
name is
You feel
Troy.
me? Martise, how you
I'm
feel about
a
this
hater.
Memphis versus
Hold on. Wow, you
Memphis
good,
versus
bro?
OKC? He trying to get a reaction out of this. Leave him alone. He good. He good. Martise, I got you so we can hear you speak. Go ahead, Martise. How you feel about this Wolves versus OKC?
They do this almost every season.
To be honest with you, I personally feel like this is the time for SGA to just be what we've been waiting on. You know, I feel like you get the MVP. You in this position now. Anthony Edwards can clearly make a statement, and they're both brands that people like, but I feel like the kids leans more towards the Anthony Edwards, and I would like to see SGA just dominate, bro, because I feel like the Nuggets had the defense to do it. I don't feel like the Timberwolves have just as good as enough defense as the Nuggets, so I expect SGA to get off damn near every game.
You think the Nuggets got a better defense than the Timberwolves?
I do.
What the fuck?
I do. In terms of SGA style of play, right? SGA ain't shooting threes like that. He not perimeter wise.
They gonna put Jalen McDaniels on him.
You think he gonna lock up SGA?
I
I've seen him play.
I think he gonna do better than anybody on the Nuggets did. Guarantee you that.
Okay.
I guarantee you that.
Every time they played, it looked like SGA is just dropping buckets. Have you seen the numbers that he played against Jalen? And like in his regular season, like I bet on these games.
They played 2 games this year, right?
What's the stats on them?
No, I think they played 4. I think they 2-2.
Yeah, they played 4, 2, and 2.
How many? What was SGA average?
I can look it up. You give me a second.
I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm pretty sure he might have played well though. I'm not the difference for me. I don't really judge I mean, I ain't saying you can't take something from a regular season matchups, but I don't judge teams off of that hardly. Like I would rather just still see them when they're, to me, they're in their final forms, right? Both teams are healthy. There's no significant injuries on neither team. So I think this is a fair series. May the best man win type deal, right? Like, again, I'm not.
I got OKC taking this, by the way.
I can tell. I personally got the Timberwolves taking it.
I got OKC. But
I think for me,
35, 7, and 7 is the answer.
Neither
35, 7, and 7.
Neither team has
average?
played.
What, can you respond to that one?
What I'm supposed to respond about?
Come on, bro.
I just told you, like, me personally, I don't go off of that. That's not something I go off of. Like, I've seen the Derrick Rose led Bulls team beat the Miami Heat 3 times in the regular season. I knew in the playoffs started. I told everybody the Miami Heat finna beat the shit out these boys. Like, I already know this.
I'm talking just not legendary players. Ain't nobody legendary in this postseason.
But this how you become legendary, though.
Who legendary? Oh, I mean, possibly, yeah. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You expect legendary players to dominate during this particular time. I don't see McDaniels holding SGA less than 35.
I do.
I don't.
He only scored in the last 5 games he's played against the Timberwolves. 4 this year, 1 last year. This year, his lowest points was 24, 8, and 9. That's the lowest he scored against them. Every other game, just counting the 4 this year, is 43 and 2, 37, 8 and 8, 39, 10 and 8 was the last game.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, again, that's not moving.
He's averaging 51.9% from the field when he plays against him. I think that moves me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's the only reason I'm choosing OKC.
That don't move me.
At the end of the day, if we're gonna use anything to our opinion, I feel like nothing's better than numbers until otherwise.
New York didn't beat Boston not one time in the regular season. What does that mean?
Yes, it is.
No, they didn't.
What does that have to do with this conversation?
Because he wants to keep pointing it back to me to get a reaction out of this. It's not gonna work. Let him do it. Let him do it.
Bro, fuck what Troy talking about. I'm bringing up regular season shit, bro. Recent shit that just happened this year. Again, I'm a person that you're never going to catch me using regular season records and shit like that to determine my analysis on 2 teams. Not gonna do that.
So how
because
you get
a lot of times you don't know when teams met each other throughout the season, like what was going on. Like you don't know what players didn't play. You don't know these things. Right now, what we do know is
I could pull a box scores from every single game if you would like.
All right, bro.
We could tell who was there, who wasn't.
Bro, would you agree that in the playoffs you're going to play your best players, especially the most healthiest players that you have on your team? Wouldn't you agree that?
Yeah, every team plays that.
Do you think they do that all days in the regular season? Like, what if a guy is banged up? I'm pretty sure Julius Randle didn't play in a couple of those games that 2-2 split. So, like, again, I'm not going to use that as a point of this is why I think this team is going to beat them because they beat them 3-1. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to give you basketball reasoning, which I'm not saying you're not doing in a sense. I'm not saying none of y'all doing that. I'm just saying I'm going to give only basketball reason that's currently happening based off what I've been seeing previously, not off of a regular season game where a team might have just came off a back-to-back. I don't know the scenario. And when you playing teams in the regular season, it is easy for a team to catch you off guard when you not keyed in on them. You might have just, again, came off a back-to-back, ready to get back to the crib, anything. Like, I don't know. I know playoffs is win or go home.
I'll say this. If you mention anything from previous, you're going to talk about some type of analysis of numbers or some form of logistics in terms of how you feel because of numbers at the end of the day. There's still something that comes along with numbers, probability, right? That's what it comes down to when you're making a prediction. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're
talking about outcomes. I'm not basing it off of outcomes in the regular season.
Well, I mean, if you're not, you can't just say I'm just judging after the fact. The conversation is supposed to be about building some type of analysis on your opinion. That's what this conversation is about.
Why you can't tell me basketball reasons though? Like just basketball reasons personally. Nothing that has to do with nothing that we've seen before. You can just tell me like you did with the Pacers. Like you made a great point. You said the Pacers, they got rest. I think the Knicks, they've been playing 2 grueling ass series. X, Y, Z. The Pacers is a little deeper. You gave a lot of basketball analysis. Tell me the basketball analysis other than Shea got off on them in the regular season. Why do you think the Thunder could beat the Timberwolves? Like just based off what you've seen in the playoffs.
Based upon what I'm seeing in the playoffs, I think this is the game where SGA can finally prove his matter. OKC is probably the only team that's really going to run their game through one guy more than anybody else. Even though the Timberwolves may do it from time to time through Anthony Edwards, the amount of shots that SGA is projected to probably take is probably going to predict that they win or lose. I think that Anthony Edwards can score under 25 and win. I don't see OKC having SGA under 25 and winning the game. So I'm going to base upon more on his performance because that's the type of team that they have compared to looking at the teams when we were judging in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's just my opinion.
So you're saying the only way the Thunder can win the series is if SGA is putting up over 30 a game?
Over 30 a game? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a like I'm just saying, like, don't you think that's a tough ask though? Like, what if he giving you 28, 7 and 7 on great efficiency? It's still his fault.
He's still gonna have to. I mean, at the end of the day, his numbers have to be consistent more than any other player. He's put up a lot of high numbers. When we talk about Troy putting up the percentage, Troy mentioned out of that split, 51% field goal, right, Troy? Was that correct? So, so to me, if he can go in that game and even drop 28 points and shoot 51%, that's a W without even looking at the scoreboard.
Oh, that's a W. I could tell you it ain't gonna work just like that, though.
I mean,
that's like.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can have. Hold on, you can have that one-off that I don't see that coming. I promise you, nobody made money in Vegas predicting what happened between the Knicks and the Celtics. No one made money. No one predicted the way that turned out. I don't see anything that's going to be historically different or unexpected to come in the Western Conference Finals. I just don't see that happen. I think it's going to be a little bit easier to predict.
I think the Thunder are the better team.
Period.
I don't think the Thunder are better team.
So I mean, why don't you? Let's. I mean, what would you say? You believe that the Timberwolves will probably win?
Anthony Edwards might be the better player, the best player on the court, if that's what you want to say. But
what would be your reasons to think that the Wolves will have it? Your basketball analysis.
It actually don't have nothing to do with Anthony Edwards. I believe Julius Randle will be the X factor in that series. I believe Julius Randle will be the most. I ain't gonna say necessarily most impactful player, but I think he will be a better number 2 option than Jalen Williams or Chet, whoever the number 2 option is for the Thunder.
Why?
I think. What you mean? Why?
Why?
Because he's a better basketball player than them.
Okay.
Like Julius Randle has been proven, he's clearly been proven that he's a better basketball player than Chet and Jalen Williams for some time now. Like these guys are young players, so it's like he's a more proven player. But as the playoffs, like right now, he's clearly been more impactful and better to his team than they have.
I think he's just more hungry, honestly.
That's part of it. For sure, he hungry than the motherfucker. You can tell that he hungry.
Yeah, he's playing like he got something to prove to me, and I think that's one of the difference makers, right? But I think it comes down to not just Julius Randle, not just the play of Anthony Edwards, but they're bigs, right? It's no secret that Chet isn't the strongest in the middle. And I get it, the narrative, the jokes that is Rudy Gobert, right? But that's a what, 3-4 time defensive player of the year? Dominating on the boards? Chet got to be ready for that. And I know a lot of people are going to sit up there and try to brush that off, but that's not no joke. That he going to have to be ready for that. McDaniels on the wing, he is a problem, especially when he gets hot from three. It's not just his defensive ability. He gets hot from three, and the man starts to go crazy. Like that T-Wolves team is like I said last series against my Warriors. It's a scary ass goddamn team, right? I know they lose a few players, but the pieces that they add, right? And then you pair that with the fiery, just a different type of mentality, and Dante DiVincenzo, like that team just is that their mentality is different. They're attacking the game on a different level. And I think that ultimately can be the difference maker when it comes to playing up against a really young, and I hate to say it, but low-key soft OKC team.
I wouldn't say they soft.
I don't want to put it in that narrative, but
that's a tough word. I could think of
I can't really think of any other name.
So, I mean, anybody could win the series, right? But for me and what I'm looking at, right? You say young, right? You guys say hungry, right? But who's to say those guys over there aren't hungry? Look at the way that they've been playing. Now,
That's true.
Now some people would say the OKC shouldn't have won against the Nuggets, right? Some people would say they should, right? Some, it's flip-flopped on both sides. But if you look at the Nuggets team who was defending champions 2 years ago, you would think they would find a way, maybe if Mike Malone was there, they will find a way to beat this young, soft Thunder's team. I don't know how soft they are when they throw a fucking 6'1" guy on Jokic and he's fucking disturbing him like he's his shoe and his foot hurts. Like that's what Alex Caruso was out there. He was disturbing him. So like my thing about the Thunder is I think they're just as hungry as all three of the other teams that's left. I think they learned that lesson of being young last year and the year before that when they were coming up. I think this year they have a lot to prove, right? They have a lot on there, a lot to be like, all right, we've been here before, right? We've been the number one seed. If I'm not mistaken, they were the number one seed last year, or the number two. They were somewhere in the top, right? And then they lost in the second round of the Western Conference Finals, right? So we're here again, right? We know we can get here. We're back to the same place. This is our moment to prove it. So when we talk about hungry, right? We talk about want more. I think we're missing how much those guys, the Thunder and those young cats out there are playing as well as they are because of how hungry they are to taste it. Like if you don't think they're sitting over there like, all right, we know Anthony Edwards going to do his thing. We know this guy might have one good game. We know this guy might have one good game. And I don't think it's just on SGA. I agree that SGA has to be the focal point, right? But you guys say Chet is soft, but we can do a lot of different things here, right? Putting Gobert on the block, right? Putting him up top, putting him in pick and rolls, right? Getting him out the way, dishing it low to Chet, so Chet's getting his points early. Like there's a lot of things they could do to combat these guys, right? It's just the execution and how it's going to be done. And that's why I started it by saying anybody can win this series. But if I'm looking at these two teams, I think the Thunder find a way to pull this out. That's just me. No hate attached, boy. No hate attached.
I feel like the Thunder kind of reminds me of like a 2021 like version of the Celtics a little bit.
Which Celtics team are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying in terms of being young and being great and had that much talent around them and trying to, because to me there was a time period where the Celtics had a good regular season identity. They didn't have a good postseason identity, and they kept falling short. I see OKC kind of having a good regular season identity.
We were making it to Eastern Conference Finals. I think that's a good resume.
They wasn't really falling short. They just a lot of times they was underperforming. They
were trying to find that postseason identity. They didn't know if they should keep Jalen, or get rid of Jason, I think OKC is starting to find that postseason identity because that was a sloppy series between them and the Nuggets. That was fine and sloppy.
Yeah, it was a tough series. That's a tough team.
But they made the adjustments in the right places where it really showed that they could play basketball in a lot of ways. I think it's
I do think if Mike Malone is there, I do think Nuggets pull it out. And I say that because in moments like that, coaches strategies and what you draw up and what you see and the adjustments you make and the things you change and make them run, that shit helps in those moments. And I think that coach was probably a little bit too small for that moment. I think a veteran coach like Mike Malone was there. He probably figures it out, and then he gets fired because they lose.
I don't think you can figure that out, bro. Like to me,
no, I'm not. I said a thought. I said I think. I said that's how I'm not saying.
No, I'm saying like I don't think no coach could, honestly though, because again, bro, you can't account for Jamal Murray playing as bad as he did. You cannot account for Mike.
Listen,
he did.
Don't start on Jamal Murray. You know how I feel about him.
Man, he needs some of this work, bro. He got to get some of this work. He just got to, bro. Like at the end of the day, he played bad. That's who. When I look at why the series, bro, I'm looking directly at Jamal Murray and fucking Michael Porter.
Say it right. Nope. Say it right.
No, that's what I'm looking at.
Say it right. Say his name right.
Who?
Say his name right. Michael No Back Porter Jr.
Yeah,
no
whatever.
Back.
Like
say his name right, Mr. No Back.
My
no
thing
back,
is,
no shot.
My thing is when your number 2 not playing up to par, and then your number 3 not playing up to par, that means your number 4 got to extend like a guy like Aaron Gordon, which he did. Aaron Gordon played phenomenal throughout the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? He had like, I want to say 2 game-winning shots.
Did he just get paid?
No, he got paid 2 years ago. Well, whenever he got paid when they won the title, yeah. But regardless, I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at these 2 guys like, bro, y'all making 100+ million, bro. Like at the end of the day, y'all not delivering, bro. Like when I see it, when I look at the team and I say, damn, now Jokic, don't get me wrong, Jokic could have played better, but I've been seeing Jokic for the last 5 years have to carry this team to wherever they got to, literally carry this team, and that's the same thing with a guy like Giannis. I've seen him carry a lot of times, injured teams and shit like that. So to me, I'm not looking at guys when they carrying. Granted, could they play better? You know what I'm saying? Yes. I'm looking at these number 2s and number 3s that's truly underperforming. Like, motherfuckers telling me Jamal Murray is one of the greatest playoff performers ever. Ever. Like, when you get that type of praise on one end, I'm not looking at him that way. I'm thinking he's very good. Like, as far as his time in the playoffs, he only had 3 runs, 4 now, 4 runs in the playoffs. Like 2 of them was good.
I gotta bounce out of here in a bit, y'all. So no, I'm just want to say peace out, man. I appreciate the opportunity y'all let me get on though.
All right, Monty. Yeah, if you're free next week, we'll hit you again, man. We're always looking for some people to talk to, and we like talking to you. I think I'd like talking to you too. So.
Oh yeah, hey, I wouldn't want bumping heads too much, man.
Hey man, listen, it's all love, brother. Man, appreciate you coming on the show, man. Look forward to hearing from you a couple of weeks or whatever, whenever you're free.
Yeah, man. Y'all got my line. Hit me up. So yeah, I'll talk to y'all.
I'll check with you next Monday. Thanks for stopping by, brother.
Oh yeah.
All right. So what are we looking at? 5'9", 5'7", 5'5". All right. So Jamal Murray, first game against the OKC, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Second game, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Third game, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. We're going on 1, 2, 3. Fourth game, he's 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. The fifth game, he went 28, 4, and 3. The sixth game, he went 25, 8, and 7. And then the last game, he went 13, 1, and 2. So I don't know if he had let me see his shoot percentage real quick.
Not good.
So let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 37%, 44%, 47%, 33%, 37%, 47%, and then 37% to the last game. I do agree with Buwab's sentiment. Jamal Murray could have definitely played better, especially when Alex Caruso's on Joker fucking him up down there. You gotta do something to help your mans out. Joker's told Aaron Gordon not to play in Game 7. Aaron Gordon said, "Fuck that, I'm gonna do it anyway." So I respect that man. Got a lot more respect for you than Jamal Murray. In his matchup of his last 10 games versus the Thunder, he's 20 points, 4 assists. Well, 5 assists, 4.6 assists, and 4.3 rebounds. So, I mean, decent, but definitely expect more, like Buwa was saying, from me, number 2. But I've been telling you niggas about Jamal Murray. Nobody want to listen. When that big old nigga was on the show, I tried to tell y'all motherfuckers, and nobody want to listen. I want to be called crazy because Bubble Murray, Bubble Murray. Shut up, because Bubble Murray. You did this because Bubble Murray. You feel me? It's all Jay. That's all Troy was here. Bubble Murray this and Bubble Murray that. And fuck Bubble Murray, all right? I don't give a fuck about no Bubble Murray. I told you consistency is what we want to see, and we don't get to see it. We don't get to see that, Jamal. He show up, and that's it. He show up when he wants. And like Boy said, that's not what jokers need. You want your number 2 to be consistent. You definitely want your number 2 to be consistent in the playoffs, and you definitely want your number 2 to be consistent in the Game 7. You feel me? That's just what it is. He's been in
everybody to be consistent, but I think it's harder for to be like a consistent number 1 option in the regards of when it comes down to the playoffs, because if I'm playing against a great defensive team, they're going to be able to key in on me. So now I need my number 2 to be himself, right, if not better than what he normally is. So
he's been in the league 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, not counting one because he missed one. 21, 22. Would have been 9 years. And I'm not saying he's a bad player. Just like I never said James Harden was a bad player. All right. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I do not like when we put guys out there and into positions, or we try to give them more credit or put them in next to names where they don't, they don't belong. And I felt like on this show a couple of years ago, his name was being put in a spot where I didn't feel he deserved it at the time, because the bubble ring was in what, 2021? What was it? 2020?
2020. But he didn't win the bubble.
2021. No, I'm saying it was in 2021.
Oh, 1920, they won the bubble.
1920. So, okay, 2019 to 20. Okay, 59 games they played?
Yeah.
Yep. So in the bubble, Murray goes off, and then that next year he gets injured, right, in the bubble. No? Did he get injured in the bubble the year after?
He got injured
the year after, right?
He got injured like halfway through the season.
48 games he played. He got injured. He comes back, and then he plays a half a year, misses a year, and then comes back, and in 2022, 2023, Troy got to hear how great he is. Like, no, these are the moments, right? These are the moments where you want your great player to step up. And yes, they did go and win a championship. Congratulations. But I think a lot of that could be contributed to a guy like KCP and Bruce Brown, for the dirty work that they did for that team that Jamal Murray wasn't doing, that Porter wasn't doing. Those guys play big for him. Not saying that Murray didn't, but you do expect him to play more. He did knock down some nice shots. I was watching the game, but it's just not what I expect from a guy that you guys think is not these guys up here, but somebody that's motherfucker. Thought was, the best point guard to ever live and shit.
But on one end, like, losing guys like that is just gonna hurt your team overall.
Oh, 100%. Blue guys. Mm-hmm.
But it's still, when I still look at it as a whole, again, Jamal Murray just being a very inconsistent number 2 right now, that's not going to help your case as a team. Like, you need you lose those type of guys to just be consistent. If he don't be nothing else, just be consistent. Like, whatever you're gonna do, just do that consistently. And I know that's like a tough pill to ask, but that's just the reality when you kind of look at basketball. Like, most of the time, teams lose because let's say it like this. Most of the times teams do lose because the team is just better, right? But a lot of times it's because guys aren't playing up to their expectations. You know what I'm saying?
And this is what I would say too. Jamal Murray, he did step up 2 years back to back, 1920, right in the bubble. His average went from 20. What was it? Hold on. 1920. His average went from 18 points in the regular season
25
to 26.5 in the playoffs. And then last 22-23, he went from 20 points regular season to 26.1. So if that's what you can give him, right? But then you come back the next year, y'all lose it, you average 20. Then the next year after this year, you average 21. Where's that 26 points that won you the championship and damn near got you far in the bubble? You feel me? Like that's the player you need.
Yeah, that's my whole point.
Yeah, I'm with
you. You can't expect him to drop off 5 points. Well, not even 5, because the thing about it is that he rises. He's a playoff riser, right? So he comes into the regular season and I'm not going to call him mid, but he's just, he's middle of the package. He's middle of the package, right? Like
19.
He's not really a top 10 point guard. He's you know what I'm saying? Because the point guard position is one of the thickest positions in the league, right? So like you not in a real mix of those point guards. He's not being considered in the you know what I'm saying, the upper echelon point guards. He's more of the lower tier point guards. But then in the playoffs, he goes from looking like basically not looking like a debatable top 10 point guard to looking like a top 10 player. Like that's an insane jump. And then you're doing it against some of the premier defenders in the league at that time. You're doing it against the Kawhi Leonard, the Paul George. You know what I'm saying? The next year, which would be 22, 23, you're doing it against who they played the first round. I can't remember.
Who this year?
In 23.
Talking about the Nuggets?
Yeah. When they won the ring, who they played in the first round? Was it the Warriors? No, it wasn't the Warriors.
I got you right now. They played in the first round.
And then they played Phoenix in the second round.
They played the Timberwolves. Timberwolves in the first round, Phoenix, then LA, and then they beat Miami.
LA. All right. So.
And they swept LA.
And then, so maybe he didn't really do it against premier defenders that run, because I'm trying to think like Minnesota. I don't think they had Jalen McDaniels yet, did they? Because I think he might have been the Lakers.
Is that 23?
Yeah.
They did, but remember he broke his hand because he punched the wall that year.
Yep. So he wasn't playing. Rudy was Rudy there? Rudy was there, wasn't he?
Was, but remember he got suspended because he punched on Brandon. What's his name? Slow-mo.
Yeah. Right. Damn.
It was down to two prominent defenders that year.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So yeah. They didn't really play. Maybe that's. He got into a groove early against Minnesota, and when he got that, when he synced the Lakers, he was just in a whole nother funk. So
a lot of people
Jamal Murray is a hell of a player when he wants to be, and I don't know what the Lakers are gonna do, bro. I really don't, bro. They kind of in no man's land for me personally. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get from Jamal Murray. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I personally don't look at Jokic like he's doing anything other than maxing out. Like he has a right to get tired and wore down to some point. Like, this is some of the most grueling, impressive basketball I've seen from an NBA player in the last 25 years that I've been watching the game, bro. Like, what he's been able to do, to me, I think he maxed out. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have him winning against the Clippers. I didn't have him beating this Thunder team, but he took both those teams to game sevens.
Mm-hmm.
despite subpar play from his number 2s and number 3s, like it took a guy like Aaron Gordon to make tough shots down the stretch for them to even win, you know what I'm saying, a game, you know what I'm saying, 2 games in that Thunder in that Clipper series. Like this nigga Aaron Gordon saved the day
twice.
Like it's crazy work for me, bro. Like I think Denver is, again, they in no man's land till Jamal Murray establishes. I think he needs to establish himself in the regular season at this point, bro. Like he needs to come out like, I'm finna be him. Ain't no more of this coasting shit. None of this shit, bro. Jamal Murray, like I always said this, in a perfect world, Jamal Murray needs to be the leading scorer on this team. In a perfect world, like Jokic needs to be averaging like 22, 23 points a game, giving you, and he probably can still give you an efficient triple-double doing this. 23, 10 and 10, whatever, 13 and 10, whatever he do, right? But you got Jamal Murray giving you 26, 27 a game, 5 assists. Michael Porter Jr. giving you 17, 18 a game. That's the perfect recipe for that Denver team. Like, when Jokic got to be the leading scorer, the leading assist guy, the leading rebounder, like, bro, he's going to get gassed. He's going to get gassed. That's any player.
That's true.
I mean, it's true. Well, we're in for an exciting treat. We're going to close this out with some final thoughts. And we'll be back next Monday to see what happens in what we got, probably 3 games, 4 games by that time.
Probably
Got
two.
two of each. Yeah.
2 and 2.
Definitely 2, maybe 3.
We'll see where,
Tomorrow
who
is
up next.
we get OKC versus Timberwolves tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
And
they're
then we
gonna
get Pacers
probably
versus.
play. They'll play again. Thursday? More than likely.
And then Saturday, I think.
Then we probably get them on
Saturday.
Sunday. No, Sunday.
Saturday or Sunday.
They're gonna have to go to Minnesota. Probably be off Friday, Saturday, and have game 3 Sunday.
Yeah,
more
because
than
they
likely.
got to travel. You're right. It was 2 days of travel.
So we probably get 5 games. You know what I'm saying? So that's
So
cool.
we'll have a good grip on so Tuesday.
Oh, my nigga.
We'll have a good grip on it.
Right, yeah.
No, they play. No, I was right, boy. They play Saturday.
Firmly
Pacers in New York. Pacers in New York play Sunday.
Is it firm?
Firmly grasped it.
I don't know. You grabbed it. I didn't grab anything.
I didn't grab nothing.
I said we was gonna grasp the games,
grab
nigga. Grasp the games of the playoffs. You over here talking about polls. I don't know what the fuck you were thinking about.
I'm just saying, bro. You got.
I've been thinking about some dicks in the middle of something. I don't know. But anyway, final thought. You don't need to be out here wilding.
I'm gonna let some time go by before I have a final.
I know somebody out there fucking hawking down the glizzy right now. I ain't gonna say no names.
Hey,
But
bullshit. Real talk on my baby. I ate 3 glizzies the other day.
No, boy, bro. What the fuck? That's crazy, bro.
I was
Fuck this.
blasting them bitches.
No